Senator Hinch.
Thank you, Mr Deputy President. It's always good when you take a line from Shakespeare and adapt it for home consumption. So, something is rotten in the state of Victoria. Really rotten. Street crime, gang crime, home invasions, carjackings, prison riots, and a court system that lets a man out on bail despite strenuous police opposition, and it results in the carnage in the Bourke Street Mall. Melbourne, my Melbourne, is barely recognised as a place that keeps getting voted the most livable city in the world. Hard to see us winning next year. The State Opposition Leader Matthew Guy said the other day that, quote, "Every day we're seeing riots, we're seeing crime waves." And he said of the Andrews administration, "This is a government who is standing by and allowing Melbourne to become the Johannesburg of the South Pacific." That should be which is standing by, but I agree with the sentiment. Not only Melbourne, but throughout Victoria, crime is rampant, it is out of control. In Caroline Springs on Saturday night, dozens of Sudanese youths, and I will identify them as Sudanese, even though it is politically incorrect to do so, dozens of Sudanese youths terrorised and terrified families at a community fireworks night, running through the crowd, snatching mobile phones and handbags, punching anyone who resisted. Once the fireworks started and people started using their mobile phones to take pictures, the gang struck. One eyewitness said it was like the running of the bulls. Another witness said they had no fear, no respect for authority. Well, obviously not, of course not. One teenager was bashed and had his phone stolen right outside the Caroline Springs police station. I said they had no respect for authority. Why would they? Why would they? They're treated with kid gloves. Reportedly, troublemakers get ice cream and pizzas in juvenile detention as rewards for just behaving themselves. Why would they? When a department spokesman referring to the latest prison riot, yet another one, actually referred to rioting prisoners as clients. Clients. They're criminals, they're prisoners. They are not clients. Although the way the current government treats them, you can understand if they see themselves as clients or customers. On 3AW last week, Neil Mitchell found a bombshell of a line in the small print in an Ombudsman's report. It turns out that after the rioting juveniles ransacked their Malmesbury and Parkville detention centres and were sent to country prisons, the government decided it would be the decent thing to do if their parents could visit them. And it would be fair and decent for you, the taxpayer, to pay for it. They forked out for taxis and Uber rides for the folks to get there from Melbourne, I guess at around $200 to $300 a time. Now, I don't know, although I'd bet on it, that the taxpayers even paid for their motel and hotel expenses. Now, ignore the fact that the only reasons these young crims were in the country jails was because they destroyed their city abodes. Now, a cynic would say, I suppose, it's a surprise they're even in jail, because they usually get bailed so easily, some of them 8 or 9 times. Thugs repeatedly given chance after chance out on bail and go on to commit further offences. The justice system and magistrates continue to put the offenders first and the victim and the community protection last. I've talked to a lot of police. They all say the current court system of granting bail to an accused is utterly frustrating and at times dangerous to the community. Police keep trying to remand accused persons until they hit the court system, but more often than not, they are released on court bail despite concerns by the police. Exhibit A, Adrian Bailey, rapist, killer of Jill Maher. Exhibit B, Jimmy Gargasolis, Bourke Street Mall. Exhibit C, Sean Price, killer of Masa Vukotic. Exhibit D, still to come. Could be any day soon. Melbourne is currently going through an extraordinary wave of carjackings and violent home invasions, apparently not happening anywhere else in Australia. And one of the problems, I think, is the VicPol policy to not tell it like it is, to be politically correct. And it takes me back to the days when Christian Nixon was police commissioner. There were African gangs terrorising Kensington. And I remember saying on 3AW that Mrs Doubtfire had instructed police not to call them African gangs, not even gangs. Jesus wept. You wonder, how much have they learned since? Mollycoddling does not work. Ignoring reality does not work. And the way things are going in Victoria, my state's next number plate slogan should not be Victoria, the Garden State, or Victoria, the place to be. Should be Victoria, the crime state.